Hey, good morning there, Aries. I'm trying to go ahead through and get these posted for the January. But how you doing, Aries? I'm doing a January 2025 reading for all who come and visit for the month. I'm going through the house energy. So I'm starting off with day 1, January the 1st of 2025. And in the houses, the first house going to have Taurus, which is going to be the ascendant. Now, considering Taurus have Jupiter retrograde in Gemini in the first house, then Uranus, which is still retrograde in Taurus, and then the Fruitona will be in Gemini. So walking into the year going to be like a little shifty. Now, I think Aries, your thing going to be how to control going to be, I think, a factor. Okay, control is going to be a factor because by the time the middle of the month comes, your North Node energy, Aries, North Node general energy in the current time is going to get relieved of some pressure, right? So it's going to, the middle of the month, I think, is going to really be shifting. Now, let's see. Let's start off with some oracle cards like I've been doing majority all of them. Just want to get a little bit of antidote up inside of me. So, let's go into it. I'll go pull out 2 oracle cards. One oracle card going to represent the ascendant and descendant. And the other oracle card going to represent the IC and the midhaven. So, here we go, universe. I have one oracle card for Aries General 2025 General Astrology reading to represent the connection with the ascendant and the descendant, the first house, the 7th house. But I also have one card also to be prepared for the 4th house, roots, and the 10th house, the world card. May I have one of each, one at a time, please, to begin this 2025 General Astrology meeting. So remember, everybody, I'm starting it with you, Aries. I forgot what it was previously. All messages is up to you to take in consideration. This is not to override any type of other help that you might assist or have assistance in your life. Take it as it is in this moment of time. I have one card for Aries, ascendant and descendant connection for the January General Astrology. Alright, little one. I have one card. Oh, there you go. Okay, this card slid out at the same time. It was face down. Oh, we got liberation. Well, you're definitely going to have a liberation. Now, the shadow card here. Is peace. Alright. So that reads, dissolving unwanted or disturbing thoughts. Liberation. Breaking free from a negative attachment. So it looked like you got a negative attachment. Okay, so the first house, you got the enchanted forest. Okay, that's what came up for you. So that's mystery, magic, and excitement. Let me get some cards here. All right, I'm gonna do this a little bit. What you mean by this enchanted cards and the fact that liberation flipped out too? What do you mean by this? When it comes to the first and the seventh house connection. I have 3 cards for clarification here. Alright, 2 cards came out, and then it gave me an extra card with the... It gave me a total of 4. Those 2 came face down. So I'm going to look at these 2 as the North Node by the way it's going. So we have the King of Pentacles, and we have the 5 of Swords. Okay? We have the King of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords. So what it looked like is... in this North Node energy, in the first house, when it comes to yourself, it seemed like you really don't get along with a lot of Gemini energy or Aries. You're not going to get along with a lot of Gemini energy. So this Gemini and Jupiter that's inside mixed with it, it seemed like you're going to have some type of battlefield that's going on between it. Your battleground. I think you're going to have a problem with things, I guess, overconfidence. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm hearing. It's like you're so overconfident. You have a problem with the way people describe or communicate advice or general conversation for a minute. For example, say it's 4 of y'all sitting in a house, since 4 cards came out. Say 4 of y'all sitting in a house. And right now, y'all topic might want to be about how kids interact with Roblox. So you got your opinion, and one other person has an opinion. And the 2 other people kind of feel both of y'all opinion, but they're not really Roblox people, so they really don't care about it. And then they have a different point of view when it comes to the younger generation. Say that they feel that the younger generation is too intelligent, too smart, very sassy, very growing up fast, and all of that kind of stuff. So the other 2 people is kind of like throwing the building blocks of the shade between you and the other person. Say your point of view is Roblox is messed up and parents should be held more responsible, and say the other person that you're going against, they saying, okay, I agree, Roblox is messed up, but it shouldn't be all on parents because you can't control the kids. So let's say those are the 2 debatable things where this 5 of Swords is at. And because the King of Pentacles came out, I'm trying to stay in the environment of comfort. And plus we got that 7th house, which is the partnership that's coming up. So you're going through a whole different debate, but at the same time, maybe the other person, one of the people who's that in it come out and say, why do you even care about anything? You don't even like kids. You don't even want kids. And what's that with that this 5 of Swords right here, with this 5 of Swords right here? That's going to trigger you to like get a major attitude. You're going to be fucking upset. And you feel like somebody is disrespecting you, like they carried that shit too far. They ain't had no, like, whatever you decide to do with your life don't have nothing to do with the way that parents is raised. But you have a point and you don't have a point. But I guess they trying to say that you're not a parent. You don't want to be a parent. So why do you want to hold parents responsible when you don't want to be a parent? So these are the 2 cards that came out face down. Ooh, yes. See, Judgment and the Hangman. So that's the partnership. So I'm pretty much talking about the example because this judgment, like I said, was going to trigger that. Five of Swords. The Hangman is the whole event or whatever the thing is. And it could be about anything. It could be about a car, the tire, how different things is running, what type of security system to get, what type of business. You probably want to invest into some Bitcoins and stuff and try to get some type of cryptocurrency anyway, Bitcoin type thing. You really want to probably be in it. So all of this is going to be those kind of things that come up for you, Aries, those conversations. And within that partnership, I think something is going to go certain ways that's going to be beneficial to you. And I think it's going to be some type of betrayal that happens when this investment comes about. Now, the thing is, I think you going into a situation based on your experience on this earth, meaning how old you are. You have so many years of recognizable memory that you choose to recognize. And you have so many years of kind of, when it comes to the first house, the I am house, that house right here with Taurus, right? You with the King of Pentacles kind of coming up a little bit on this front side of it more than anything. That's where Aries could be a little bit headstrong, and some Aries really can be very headstrong. It takes a lot for some Aries to know when enough is enough. The longer people, or the longer they have friendships with certain people, the more that the reliability and expectation that person, if they don't recognize that person changes along the growth of their friendship, that person really don't have a right to grow and change differently without it making that Aries feel very extremely uncomfortable. Aries kind of being more like the type of person that expect for change to be announced before the change happen. So, and that's a little bit where this gonna come in at with that 7th house, right? Because those are your characteristics and those are your beliefs. But I think what's going to happen for some Aries, you're going to have a hard lesson that must come about right now at this period of time. Sometimes we as people, we hold on to certain friendships that bring karmic situations because, for example, it might be a friend you have that maybe it'll be 10 people, 10 of y'all that know each other, and maybe 4 out of the 10 people might conversate at least 40 times a week, while everybody might conversate 2 to 3 months, once every 2 to 3 months, right? So, in this group right here, you could be very flip-floppy and want to defend somebody just because somebody else made you mad, just because somebody else have a problem. Those kind of things right there, doing things like in a spiteful way, gonna pile up. It'll probably come about around the springtime, just because I'm in the houses. Before it really come unfolding itself. Could be a person, intimate relationship that you're going to be spiteful with this person with. Also. So then when we go down a little bit more, right? We have Gemini that's in the 2nd house. We have Cancer that's going to be in the 3rd and the 4th house. And Mars retrograde is going to be there. Now, for you, Aries, I don't think this Mars retrograde is going to really affect you until it goes direct. I think, Aries, you're going to be, energetic constellation that you share with the sun is going to be like solar energy for Mars retrograde. You know, when it comes to how the planets move around and do things, you know, the sun plays a solar role out there in the galactic area that's out there. And so for down here, there need to be like some hunter traps. So this is where the IC and the midhaven is coming in. So they're giving you an ocean of eternal love. All right. And that's a healing, fertility, and the last word is creativity. And yeah, it's going to be very creativity. I think when it comes to this right here, and you know, being that the 10th house, the 9th and the 10th house going to have Capricorn, so that's the opposite of Cancer. So the thing of where you will probably feel more, if you feel anything, I think you're going to feel it with Libra in the 6th house. It's going to be in your routine, but I don't see the Mars retrograde affecting you until it goes direct. Now, in the process of it going direct, I think you're going to have your own shadow period, and at the same time Mars having a shadow period. But you're going to have some people come to you and express their self. And when they come to you to express their self after situations has happened, you can stay in your arrogant mode and be like, oh, that shit water over the bridge. Or you could come out of that mode, because Cancer might not be in that 3rd or 4th house, but Cancer is just laying the little molecules in the situation, right? And Mars is there. That's one of your head planetary rulers in your constellation. Y'all supposed to have some kind of bond. So it's like going to be some dry snitching. So some Aries, you might have to worry about criminal things that happen. Or if you're a cheater, somebody betraying you. And with technology, you might even have to worry about your cell phone or your tablet malfunctioning, and snitch on you like a bird box moment. Bird box, right? And your significant other then found out all the information in the world. Now, that can happen by the end of the month. It just depends on where the multiple Aries that I'm talking to when it comes to it. Now, hold on, I'm getting a message. I just like being wrong to myself. And I know a lot of people like for these moments to be clipped out the video because it take up. But me, I want it to be natural. I don't know who I'm going to be on the next time around. And I don't know from the creativity of the universe whether these platforms or how the world going to be when I'm born again. So I can't predict necessarily my environment. But I can leave with karmatic good from this environment, right? And meaning that I don't know if I'm going to see myself. And at least I'm preparing my own self to be myself again when I come back myself. And that's why I don't clip those things out. Now, that could have been me when this download coming out to express to you the importance of preparing for a future event, especially with the IC in Midhaven. The IC in Midhaven really deal with a lot of future events to be coming about. They are the most spontaneous things, and they're more of a shorter thing compared to the ascendant and the descendant format. The ascendant and descendant format leaves a little bit more of a longevity, where the IC and the midheaven leave those episodic moments in your life that can be very impactful on the direction you go in and the changes that you make. So the common thing everybody search for is some type of peace, but what that feels like, or what we want it to feel like, is sometimes we predetermine it by looking at people on the outside, and that's where the world card gonna come at. So maybe there's the Aries that looks at the world, and maybe this technique, or the way that you look at the world to define your rights, your royalty, your legacy in this world, no matter whether you is somebody who live in the projects to somebody who pays $2,200 a month for a mortgage. It doesn't. It matters in the line of like your fleshly interaction with society. Let me say it that way. Let me get a few more cards. All right. So, what would be going on around the full moon for Aries in the month of January? What would be going on during the full moon in the month of January for Aries? Let's have 4 cards. I didn't request. I have 4 cards. What would be going on? What should Aries know about the middle of the month around the full moon time? What should Aries know about that energy? What should Aries know about that energy? Number 2. Okay. We got the Page of Cups and we got the 4 of Wands. So we had a few cards that fell out. Let me just go ahead and use this to do everything. So we got a Fool card. So there's got to be something during the full moon time that you got to put out there and risk. Okay? It's something about yourself that you got to put out there in a sacrificial mode. Or it's going to be a situation that brings up where you're going to be very flustered within the pressure or the demands on stability, success, your reputation. Okay? Then especially when the 9 of Wands is the next card that came out. Alright, the 9 of Wands came out with the King of Wands and the Ace of Cups. So some of y'all probably going to have some relationships right here. A sexual encounter. And y'all... Some of y'all gonna get caught up in somebody gonna get caught up in a weird relationship dynamic. It looked like somebody gonna get caught up in a relationship that gonna put somebody on their ancestry path. Somebody that you're gonna come into is gonna have some ancestry knowledge. And you got to find a way not to become codependent. It's almost like, how do I say it? I'm going to put it this way, right? It's a situation, for example, say you're a boxer. I know they get titles all the time. So you're a boxer. and you was like this one of these real good, great boxers, and you had a few titles, and you retired out of it. Let's say you retired out of boxing and everything, and maybe when you was getting to the point of about to die, there was a lot going on with your personal property, with your assets. And you died maybe with a little bit of bitterness of knowing that the situations is coming on. And let's say during your judgment period of time, right? Because judgment came out earlier. So let's say that they're going to be pulling this out of the descendant. And it's going to be that little quick moment I was telling you about, right? During your judgment time, you might have been a ghost for a little bit. Maybe you was watching over your family and everything, because that was part of how to get your question answered about why. Why do people be greedy? Why do people consume things? So you're this little angel and you're around. I don't know how in that ghost state that you tell time. So I can't tell you that. But just to say you was there and you maintained a lot of information. And then it came upon a time where the process said, well, you done got all this information. Then you ready to go back to Earth. And you're like, I am. I think I understand it better. I think I understand what greed is. So, just say that this might be, let's give it 700 years. Let's say you'd have been back maybe about 2 or 3 times. Because this goal that you want to accomplish wouldn't get accomplished in one lifetime necessarily. For you to understand and truly align with that moment of being that ghost to the moment of being in the flesh and come into the peaceful moment of how to survive comfortably, which will create peace within you on this planet. So you might be now in 3/4 of that whole evaluation. And the next cards that came out, what we have here. Whew. What is this? Look like the 7 of Swords. Look like the Ace of Wands. And the Eight of Wands. So yeah. So now here we go, the 7 of Swords. This is some bullshit. So right now, you're going to feel some bullshit in your life. But this bullshit in your life got something to do with greed. Whether it's all about somebody want to consume too much of your time, your energy, want too much, you feel dogged out, unworthy by this person, or whatever it is, it's going to be in the category of greed. And you here at this point of greed. There's some bounties that's circling around you, meaning that it's some great opportunities around you right now, even with love, with somebody that you really had and really can go ahead and trust or wipe your ass when you're incapacitated and all of that stuff. You have some great opportunities that's unfolding for up inside of here when it comes to it. But first you have to get through the fact of accepting you understood what greed means. Based on the way that you continue to understand what greed means, determines what you attract. Because in that time, if you was distraught about it, that means no matter what you collect or what you build, you're going to always stay in distraught mode. You're going to unappreciate your assets. You're not going to be ever satisfiable until you get back aligned. Now, the thing is, by January the 31st of 2025, Taurus going to the 12th house. So Uranus is going to be there. Now, you could capitalize off of it if you find a way to get along with a Jupiter retrograde in Gemini that's still going to be there in the 12th house. And being that Jupiter is one of the ruling planets of the 12th house, even though Taurus is going to be there, it can create a rejection where you don't want to deal with anything because everything that counts is all about the present. And that's the way society get programmed. But that's all on you. So, I'm going to say like this, Aries. Some of y'all have some spiritual things, spiritual lessons that's trying to connect back with you. So you can move and so you can see those doors that's open up that you believe that you really desire, that you're worthy of. It's not going to be something easy because the headstrongness and the codependency that comes with the Aries constellation is going to be your detriment. That's where you're going to feel very uncomfortable, is with inside of yourself. So as you go through the month of January, loving yourself is only going to be metaphorically until you touch the soul that you once had. So there you go, Aries, your January reading.